The oldest known fragment of any manuscript containing the words of the Apostle Mark is known as the Chester Beatty Papyrus. It is a copy of a much earlier work and was written at least 2.5 centuries after Mark lived.
And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me. Mark 8:34.
One of the great mysteries of the New Testament was first noticed centuries ago. Large portions of the text in the books of Matthew, Mark, and Luke were almost identical, leading to the assumption that Matthew and Luke may have copied the works of Mark.
But when Jesus saw it, he was much displeased, and said unto them, Suffer little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Mark 10:14. But Jesus said, Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 19:14. But Jesus called unto him and said, Suffer little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. Luke 18:16.
Matthew, Mark, and Luke really share so much in common and read so much alike. Scholars often refer to them as the synoptic gospels. That is, using a term synoptic, meaning to see alike, to refer to them. And that is because they're very closely related literarily. They're dependent upon one another.
When scholars began to notice and convince themselves that Mark was being copied by Matthew and Luke, they could also notice there were some other texts in Matthew and Luke that were in a somewhat similar sequence and with a similar content. They didn't come from Mark, so they postulated another source. The German scholars who did it called it Quelle, which meant the source, simply. I call it the Q Gospel.
No material evidence for the existence of the hypothetical Q Gospel has ever been found, yet its influence is unmistakable. There are obvious similarities within Matthew and Luke, indicating that the writers may well have taken their material from the mysterious Q source.
One can almost imagine Matthew and Luke independently of one another sitting down with a copy of Mark on one hand and a copy of Q on the other hand, or a copy of some other document on the other hand, and just inserting, saying, supplementing Mark with various teachings of Jesus.
The search for the elusive Q document continues, but few believe it will ever be found. If it did exist, who wrote it? Who was the author of the text that may have influenced both Matthew and Luke? The chances are that we shall never know.
You are watching Secrets of the Ancient World.